We had designed it as a chemical nanomachine to destroy our enemies and reduce planets to uniform materials, or black holes. We called it life. It did that, but more. It changed by fluke and would not stop changing. It destroyed our enemies and 99.98% of our colonized galactic structures. Whole vines of galaxies converted to dust before we could get a handle on the weapon. When we finally contained it by crushing its intercommunications and fusing all the AI cores into a mass of iron and nickel, we only had till it cooled to dispose of the damn thing before it would rampage again. We found a galaxy far off, galaxy structure away from civilization. We made a yellow star. You know, the super stable type used to bulldoze stuff. We didn't want the star suddenly exploding and releasing this thing. We plucked it out of a nursery, just as it was born, to ensure we had the maximum amount of time. We then used it to bulldoze a tracked orbit around the galaxy and build up a bit of extra fuel. When the solar wind it was putting off was enough to keep a containment field going, we dropped the hot iron-nickel containment unit off in its orbit. Next, we coated it in silica. If it got out, it would poison itself, trying to make chains with silicon instead of carbon. We ensured the track was far from stars, with any carbon-based deposits too. The final touch was a particular solvent. It would dissolve anything it tried to build. Dihydrogen oxide, nasty stuff. Coated the whole unit in it, and ensured random pockets were moving around, interlaced with the hydrolyzed silica parts. The containment unit, drawing electrical energy from the star, stayed molten and churned continuously. As a nifty fuck you, we tossed in some bits of uranium to keep it warm. We put a monitoring device in orbit that would stabilize the orbit of the containment unit, then placed some giant dead stars in orbit around the star to keep random rocks from hitting the containment unit. We created a closed-off subspace around the whole galaxy superstructure, then let a space dilation bomb go off. Finally, we put a galaxy's worth of black holes, all the black holes this damn thing had created, opposite the main superstructure, put monitoring behind it, then set off another dilation bomb. To anything near that star, it would look like the whole universe was expanding away from them, faster than physics would allow, and had been doing so for billions of years. It would be blinded by starlight from seeing the monitoring device. Worst case, the alarms went off. We could increase power to the containment unit to expand even more till we ran out of fuel, bail from the prison ship, and set off another charge to contain the all-consuming quantum self-replication program. It would now be stuck like this for eternity, or until its quarks evaporated. Even when the star went nova, by our estimates, life would be inert and obliterated in the blast. The whole system looked like a red orb on the ship. It took about 1 week to cool off to being black. Then I could see the silvery veins of the galaxy's structures inside. They twinkled and moved organically around the dilator. The first month was quiet. I would get bored and talk to it. It was so dull on the containment ship. Watching murderous AI evaporate. What a job. It was like watching the paint dry. Nothing happened day after day for months. Then all the energy around the ship dimmed. I ran to the containment room. All the monitors said the iron-nickel crushed monster was still molten deep in the containment unit. The star was still yellow and outputting energy. Inside the sphere, all the twinkling lights swarmed around the dilator and slowly formed something. I was horrified. We were all about to die. I pressed the big red emergency button, but the ship's power was already cut. It was getting out, without triggering any alarms. Slowly, The disc formed into the shape of an elongated 5-point star and touched the glass of the containment sphere. The appendage formed into 5 points. I was frozen in fear. The glass molded around it as if vacuumed in. It stepped out on its 2 legs with 5 digits and walked directly up to me. "Stop! Don't come any closer!" I screamed instinctually. I fell over, trying to shuffle backwards. The figure's skin looked more organic, mimicking my clothing as it squatted down. I was sure I was about to die. A face formed, mostly flat, 2 forward eyes and a mouth. But it softly held me back to my feet. It did not obliterate me into carbon. "Do not be afraid," it spoke. "We are humanity. We come in peace."